this is when you know there's a new model coming out. Leaving this gorgeous looking C7 Z06 out here in the rain. Oh, what a shame. Hey guys, so earlier tonight we got a chance to take a look at the new C8 Corvette. I was pretty excited about it, and I think a lot of people were. Ever since the debut, it was just awesome. That the whole right under $60,000, I think makes it very appealing. And one of the, I guess the real fascinating things for me is I think a lot of car guys, we take a look at a car that's coming out and we're like, oh, that looks terrible. But then in person, it looks really good. Now, the SRT10 Viper is the best example I can think of that, where in pictures it looked not great, not appealing, looked like a Sebring, but in person you're like, okay, that looks pretty solid. The other direction that goes is a car looks awesome in pictures and concepts, and then when you see it, it's just not worth the hype. The Toyota FT1, for example, looked amazing. They brought it out at one of the Crystal Cove car and coffee meets, and then when the MK5 was officially announced and released, it was a real big kick in the dick to all of us former MK4 owners. And it also sucks because that means that the MK4 is going to continue to go up in price. And so all of us who regret selling our MK4 Super will not be able to get one for a long time. So thanks for that, Toyota. That's another topic for another time though. So the C8 Corvette though was one of those ones that actually lived up to the hype. Looked great in concept, looked great in any of the spy shots, and then when it actually was released, it still looked great. When we got there in person, it looked awesome. The one thing that did stick out to me though, and I was a little surprised, is I know it's not actually that much bigger of a car than the last generation, but it looked a lot bigger. The guy even said the wheelbase is still pretty similar. It's a couple inches longer, but I don't know if it was because it was the only car in the room or not. However, it just looked like a larger car. I'll be interested to see how it is when it's out on the road. The one other thing is, the C7 had some issues with the paint, where from the factory out of Kentucky, it was running, or there were some swirl marks. Didn't notice any of that in this one. Obviously, it's the one that's traveling around the country to show off, so I doubt they would just roll any random one out of the factory. I'm sure this is the best one they had. So that'll be interesting to look at though. From what I hear though, they've really ramped up that Kentucky plant and are good to go. I do wish that we had a chance to at least see it drive around. We didn't get that chance, so I don't have any opinion of how that DCT works. My own experience with the DCT is pretty limited. I've been in a Golf GTI and a Lamborghini Huracan, which are essentially the same transmission, so I'm pretty limited. The guy there said that I was actually mistaken, so I originally thought that it was the same DCT that they were going to be using in one of the new Shelby Cobras. The Corvette specialist that was there, that was traveling with the car, said that I was wrong, and that the A8 from the Shelby Cobra, the last generation, and the A8 and the C7 were the same. I don't know if that's correct or not. I haven't had a chance to look it up. This is still, kind of fresh, so haven't got a chance to really look up anything. So I don't know if that's true or not. I'll take his word for it because he was the one traveling with the car. The other thing on the interior that I wasn't a huge fan of is the seats. So these seats, these seats are a little narrow for us folks with wide shoulders.
What do you think compared to your Z06, Josh?
I don't know. This is nice, but like I said, the seats are a little narrow for us folks with wide shoulders and stuff. Although the one thing is if you were tall, like I'm not tall, but if you were tall, this would still be a pretty good car. That's like the biggest thing that for us non-vertically challenged folks complain about sports cars that they're too short. But this is pretty good. Everything there, looks pretty good. I wonder how let's see here. How do we turn the lights on in here? I don't want to turn the accessory mode on because I'm afraid that I don't want to. Yeah.
Can you light the dash up?
Oh, there we go. Maybe. I don't know how to go. So like on mine, you just put. Oh, there we go. Low battery iPhone. Uh-oh. Oh, that's not us.
Calling somebody.
Wi-Fi hotspot. Well, that's. Let's see what we got. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Ooh, a little CarPlay. Yeah.
Heads-up display to the windshield.
The seats, they're fairly comfy when you sit in them. The leather seems like it's, fairly high quality. But the bolsters, I know you can't see this because the camera's a little bit higher than my arm and back. But the bolsters came up a little high, so I've got really wide shoulders and wide delts or traps or whatever the big back muscle thing is. So if you have a very wide sort of angled V-shaped back, you're probably going to run into the same issue I did. It would probably help if you had a bit longer of a torso, as I'm a fairly short guy. I'm 5'8" and I'm shaped like a box, so my legs and arms are like the same length as well as my chest. So I don't know if maybe if I had a longer torso, I would would fit underneath my shoulders a little bit better. I think then you would run into an issue though of like your head hitting the ceiling. When I was in there and took my hat out, I could feel my hair sort of brushing up against the roof. I don't know, and I didn't have enough time to really kind of play and fiddle with the stuff, the buttons. So I don't know how much you can lower the seat or not. It had plenty of leg room forward. So if you have long legs, you are good to go. You are ready to rock. However, if you have a long torso and long legs, you might have some issues fitting into it. If you have long arms and just a normal torso, you can probably, or long legs, sorry, you can probably just go in and then just lean the seat back and it'll be fine. But if you're all the way back already, you're gonna run into some head issues, so you'll probably have to take the roof off of it. I guess the other thing about it that was really nice to see is the touch screens on it. One of my big complaints of Corvettes, and I think everyone's complaints of Corvettes throughout the years, is just the interior. American cars in general, the interiors have not been great. I know my Viper was just the worst interior ever, but fuck it, you're in a Viper. The C5 Corvette interior also was really bad and looks really dated at this point. C6 it finally looks like a real interior. C7 was actually a very nice interior. So the C8, all the different gadgets and gauges and whatnot, it actually finally feels like a real car. It doesn't feel like this is going to be a very dated interior anytime in the near future. Like, we're not going to be looking back at this in 10 years and be like, oh god, that's awful. I don't like how everything's sort of like angled in toward the driver. It seems kind of clunky. I embarrassingly didn't get a chance to sit in the passenger seat. I guess, if you're going to own one though, you're probably not going to spend that much time in there unless your buddy's driving you home when you're drunk. Other than that, though, it was great. I guess if you have any comments, I would be interested to hear if you are a taller person and have a chance to sit in it, if you actually fit in it well, or if, maybe it's just me with my weird shaped back. But yeah, leave a comment if you have. And other than that, hopefully you guys get a chance, though, to go out and see it for yourselves. It is definitely worth it, and can't wait to see it when it is out on the road. Oh, goodbye, C8 Corvette experience.